I'm Rachel Fishback with Pork Industry News, coming to you from the Iowa Pork Congress in Des Moines, where pork industry leaders from Iowa and Canada are meeting face-to-face to strengthen relationships, discuss trade, and focus on collective collaboration across borders. This year's Iowa Pork Congress is bringing together pork constituents and leadership from the Iowa Pork Producers Association, along with representatives from the Canadian Pork Council and the Manitoba Pork Council, highlighting the importance of cooperation between two of the world's most influential pork-producing regions.
Mike, what values do Iowa pork producers and Canadian pork producers share that makes our relationship strong?
Well, first of all, we've got such a compatible pork industry, and of course, it's always great to get together, especially here at Pork Congress, sit across the table, talk about common issues and the connectivity, and the values that we have around the commitments to animal care, to stewardship, to healthy pigs, profitability in the industry, and of course, ultimately delivering consumers what they deserve, which is a healthy, safe, affordable product. I mean, those are things that really do unite us. And of course, we have a common language, a common geography, and again, I'm always struck by the compatibility of the two sectors.
From Iowa's ag sector, how does livestock affect our economy every day?
Yeah, well, I call livestock in Iowa the ultimate value-added agriculture. We're known certainly for corn production and soybean production, but that's not what drives value to our communities. It's you take those raw commodities and you turn them into something of higher value. And for us, number one in pork production, number four in cattle on feed, significant dairy, turkey, number one in egg production. So livestock, while you're also returning that high-value crop nutrient as well. So it's a beautiful, sustainable, closed loop, and that is what really drives value back to our communities, is when we add value to those commodities through biofuels and livestock in particular.
Well, thank you for all you do for Iowa Ag.
Oh, you bet.
So as the pork industry continues to evolve, how do you see the relationships between Iowa and Canada in pork production?
So at this moment, we're very closely linked, right? So there's lots of reasons why, Canada is a great source for young pigs to come south of the border. We think the diversity of stock that creates and the biosecurity elements that brings. So we think that's important. We also know how important it is for processed pork to come north from Iowa, so we're pretty happy with the level of relationship. But more important than that, we just think that pork farmers have similar issues on both sides of the border, and so the more we can have these kinds of conversations, and the more we can talk about things, the better we think it is.
Relationships really matter, and this is an example of that. And in Manitoba's case, we ship about 2 million pigs into Iowa every year to be finished and to become pork here. But the relationship is two ways, and Iowa exports a lot to Canada as well, whether it's food or John Deere tractors, and so having these discussions about how we keep these relationships open and going it's really important and valuable.
What excites you guys about working together across Iowa, U.S., Canada borders?
I think for me it's that producers are on both sides of the border are better off when we work together. And it's not just producers, it's consumers on both sides of the border. I think sometimes we forget about that, is that this relationship, it's not just good for producers, but it's good for consumers as well. And delivering that high quality, affordable, safe product, across both Canada and the US, and our trade relationship facilitates that.
Being a pork farmer is a tough job, and demands a lot of effort, demands a lot of work, and having folks on both sides of the border who understand that is pretty important to each other. There's not a lot of there's a lot of similarities between the job in Canada and the job in Iowa in particular, and I'm not saying that just because the weather here is colder as well, but there's a lot of the similarities. It's just awfully nice to have somebody who understands you on the other side of the border, who understands what you're going through and sees things in the same way that you do. I think our partnership between Canada and the United States is valuable for a reason. I think it's really nice to have best friends and neighbors who you can have honest and open conversations with, and I think it's really important to build those relationships so that everybody understands where the other folks are coming from. So we're always happy to sort of come down and have that conversation. We think Iowa is a bellwether state for what else is going to come up for us in the United States, and we think We think the more we can, work with Iowa and Iowa pork farmers, the better it is for, yes, consumers, farmers, and I would say citizens on both sides of the border. The more we can tighten these relationships between our two great countries, I think we're both going to be better off.
I think what people don't recognize is when you come to Iowa Pork, Illinois Pork, World Pork Expo, we have a lot of friends here with booths that are giving us technology, working with us on improving products in the pork industry as well. So I have loved the friends that I've met. I'm sure you are proud of that as Canadians.
Absolutely. Like we think that what's good for the pork industry in Iowa is good for the pork industry in Canada, and we hope folks here feel the same way. Right? We're competitors, yes, but we're also collaborators. We invest in research across the border. We talk a lot about what's happening in Iowa, and we hope that folks are talking about what's happening in Manitoba and in Saskatchewan and other places here, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to accomplish the same thing. We want to have produce high quality product for folks around the world, and we want to make sure that we're doing it, with attention to both the producers who are producing it, but also the consumers who are going to consume it.
Aaron, you're past president of Iowa Pork. What do producers not realize with the trade relationships between Canada and Iowa?
They're so intertwined, you know what I mean, since we purchase a lot of pigs from Canada down here, and then, working through those relationships, on a world stage, it affects everything on the top-down view, but since we're so intertwined with agricultural relations, we are so close, sometimes there can be some snags or some hiccups, on the way. So that's what we're trying to work through. So.
And what are some surprising things that producers may not know between Canada and Iowa?
Just the exchange of materials back and forth, with them needing our feedstuffs, and then, the amount of young pigs that do come down. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but there's pigs daily coming down that we need to keep our barns full and to keep our processing plants active. So, it's intertwined so tight that it is, it doesn't appear that there's a border with our trade. So.
And what excites you about Iowa Pork, the things coming up for national pork and Canadian relations?
The thing is, we've always got along, you know what I mean? So that's the nice thing, and it's always a work kind of continuing that relationship. And, with this meeting here today, it's nice that we can all get along. And, we understand, the geopolitical, activity that's going on. But at the end of the day, we know that we're all farmers, we all raise pigs, we all want to work together. And then we know long term, we're going to continue to do that. And, in a positive, professional manner, and we're just trying to do what's best for our friends and our relatives and our people of our country.
Well, after watching you for the past year, thank you for your service for Iowa Pork and everything you've done.
Yeah, no, it was a great year. It went fast. It was nice to see some profitability return to the sector, and got to meet a lot of great people. And even today, it's always getting back when you start doing things 2 or 3 years in a row. It's nice that like we can get some relations, and those handshakes seem familiar, and it's who's it's always good to talk to everybody, but then it seems like year 2, 3, 4, those relationships really start to blossom, and that's what's so nice is we get to come back, that the things you started with, you can start seeing activity on. So that's been one of the wonderful things, seeing things get done. So.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
These conversations center on shared priorities, including trade relationships, market access, innovation, ensuring pork producers on both sides of the border remain competitive in a global marketplace. Leaders emphasize that when Iowa pork and Canadian pork work together, it creates opportunity not only for producers, but rural communities, supply chain partners, and a broader ag economy. Meetings like these provide an important platform for open dialogue, collaboration, and relationship building, reinforcing the strong ties between U.S. and Canadian pork organizations and their commitment to moving the industry forward together. At a time when collaboration matters more than ever, Iowa Pork Congress continues to serve as a key gathering place for industry leaders to align, share perspectives, and focus on the future of pork production. From trade discussions to collective leadership, the message from Iowa Pork Congress is clear. The pork industry is stronger when it works together. For continued coverage from Iowa Pork Congress, including leadership interviews and industry insights, stay with Pork Industry News. I'm Rachel Fishback, in case you missed it.